Okay, today we welcome back. We're gonna say friend of the show now because it's your second time on. So we're gonna say that we welcome back assistant coach for Team Austria, Philipp Pinter. Did I pronounce that right? I remember there were maybe some issues last time we interviewed you. Did I say that right?
It was okay. It's Pinter, like
Pinter.
winter, just with a P. But
Okay.
you did good. You did good.
All right.
That's
Hi
probably
guys,
the
thanks
same
for having
mistake.
me.
No problem. Thanks for coming on. Yeah, that was probably the same mistake you made last year too, Brady.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
But obviously, it's an exciting time of year here. The World Juniors are just around the corner. Talk about what the last month or so has been like for you and Team Austria as well, just making the transition from Austria over to Canada here.
You know what? The last weeks, I'd say, were not really hectic. I mean, we don't have that many players to choose from, so we basically had a year time now as we have another chance to play in the World Juniors this year for good, because last year was basically a test for us and nobody got relegated. So this year I think obviously we tried to choose the right guys and hope. Last year we were missing a lot of guys before we came to Canada because they got COVID last year, but this year I have to knock on wood, everybody seems healthy so far, and I think we brought a very good team but very young team, and I think we are definitely more optimistic to start the tournament
Awesome.
than last year.
How much turnover on the team was there? Like I couldn't remember last year. There was a bunch of guys that aged out, right? As every team
You know
has.
what? Yes. A lot of good guys like Marco Rossi, and we had a handful of good players who basically aged out and dropped out, and then our age group 02 is not very deep in Austria. So this year I think we have a very young team, and I think the youngest in the tournament. But I'm still positive and optimistic, and we kind of like the look of our team this year.
You mentioned you don't have many guys to choose from anyway from that year. Just what does the process look for you like in the coaching staff throughout the entire year? Like kind of like from when the last World Juniors end to this World Juniors, like are you guys doing anything throughout the year, or is it just kind of more so once the fall hits, like September, October, November, whatever, when you guys start looking into your roster? Or is it kind of like a yearly thing where you're kind of evaluating throughout that entire time, or just what is your role throughout the year-to-year thing?
Well, we definitely, obviously sat down after the World Juniors and last year, and for us it was obviously great to see, but also shocking to see how far we were behind, and how good the other teams were, and so obviously we evaluated when we got back, and just to see what we were really missing, or I mean, we can't obviously get 500 new players in that age group, but at least we thought that we were too small, our skating was not good enough, and so that was a big thing for us this year, that we find the right guys who can skate, guys who can play the game, and I do like our size of the team also this year. And like I said, the 02, the older guys in our team, we only have a handful of guys, and the rest is 03 or even 04. But I think the skating was a big part for us, that we just are physically better and we can move better. And I think that was our biggest issue, that we couldn't keep up physically with the other teams, and especially skating wise. I thought that especially in our D core, we had some issues, and that's what we addressed, and that's what we really tried to focus on. Like I said, if I look at our D group or our prospects we have for a potential World Junior spot, we probably have 12 to 15 to choose from, who are actually really good enough to play at a higher level. And obviously those guys we, scouted over the years, and we talked, some already play in the professional leagues in Europe, some, play in the CHL or overseas. And yeah, that's basically what we try to do, to find the right guys and scout and hope that everybody stays healthy. And that's so far been good, and everybody looks good. And like I said, the situation is totally different this year, because last year the group we had was basically impossible to win a game for us, because we played the US, we played Sweden, we played Russia. Those three opponents, you have absolutely no chance. For us, it was a little shock, and also overwhelming to see how good those kids really are if you see them live and up close, and sometimes we thought that they play a different sport. And then you hope that you might have a shot against the Czech Republic, and then we realized pretty soon that physically they are just better than us. And this year it's a little different, with obviously Germany in our group, and the last game, so it will be against our direct neighbor, and that's the game we are shooting for, to basically steal one there and upset the Germans.
That's awesome. First of all, I can't get it through my head that there's people that are born in 2004 that are going to be playing in this tournament. Like that's just insane to me. But I'm curious. It's a unique situation, as you mentioned. Nobody was relegated from last year's tournament. So obviously, I don't know how many players there would be on this team that were there last year. But have you found the players that are returning, that they're showing more of like a leadership role to the guys that it's their first tournament?
I would say we have about 5 to 6 players from last year, and we cut 2-3 players who were already here last year, but we thought that we have better guys this year, and they didn't make the impact we expected, and we don't think that they could have made an impact here now. But who knows? I mean, we can obviously be wrong too, but we decided to go younger, and I think that's one thing, us as our coaching staff, we want to develop and help younger guys too. So if we have some very good young prospects, and they show that they can play, we obviously want to give them the chance to play on this stage, right? And we have Marco Casper returning from last year. He was an 04 last year already on our team, and he plays in the SHL in Sweden, and he's supposedly to be a first rounder this coming draft. And for him, obviously, it's a big tournament, and the way he returned this year, it's just really exciting and outstanding, the way he basically showed how his development was over the last couple months.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got to ask about Marco Casper right now, because I had this one written down for later, but since you brought him up, there was an interview last year TSN did, and it kind of made waves. I'm sure, obviously, you saw the clip. Just how crazy was that, kind of just to see that clip go viral? And did you have any conversations with him about that? Because it would have been like he would have been seeing himself on the internet more than he ever had before that.
You know what? He's just such a humble guy, and last year, I trained with him in the summer because I own a big training center, and a lot of our national team or ex-national team junior players train with me in the summer, and he's just such a hardworking kid, a nice kid, who wants to get better. Really, I mean, it's a cliche, right? That you want to get better every day, and work hard. But it's same with Marco Rossi. If we have a handful of guys, and it's such a big difference, and we talk about that kind of stuff with our coaching staff all the time. You see it right away. They ask so many questions. They want to know why something happens all the time, or why they should do it this and not that way. And you see them working out in the gym all the time, and sometimes you have to kick them out from the gym. It's time to go home now. It's enough, right? And for him, he has that absolutely goal to play in the NHL, and the way he basically developed over the last month in Sweden, in Rögle, which is a powerhouse in Europe now. It's just amazing to see. And I think obviously our team is not that good. If he would play for the Swedish national team or the American national team, I think he would turn a lot of heads this year.
It'll be a lot of fun to see where he gets drafted this upcoming offseason here. But besides Marco Casper, for those who aren't too familiar with Team Austria, just kind of talk about some other players that you could see maybe potentially playing pro hockey in North America one day.
There's one guy that's playing in the OHL, the league that would be closest to us, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Roar.
Yeah.
Roar.
We brought him also. We didn't know him that well, but we heard a lot of good things about him, and so we invited him to the summer camp.
Okay.
Because our program heading to the World Juniors is usually a summer camp in July. Then normally, I would say, this year a lot of things got canceled because of COVID, and the situation in Europe was a little crazy. But usually we have a tournament in August too, where some kids get another shot, because a lot of kids already overseas in August, and starting training camp. Mm-hmm. And then we just met a couple of weeks ago to play a tournament in Latvia, where we almost brought, I would say, 15 guys from this World Junior roster. And Roara was obviously not part, because he's playing for Dave Cameron and the Ottawa 67s.
Yeah. And
he's a very, very, also he's one of those kids who really works very hard, and he wanted to jump in the footsteps of Marco Rossi, and same junior club in the OHL, same coach in the off season. And he's a very good kid, very talented, works very, very hard, very shifty. He will start eventually in our top line with Marco Casper. And nice. For us, it's a cool and neat thing to have 204s in our starting lineup.
Yeah, that 204s that are probably going to go in the first probably 3-4 rounds for sure, right? So
Roara. I mean, I'm not sure what the scouting reports about him are, but I think
I saw his name a couple times. It looked like third, fourth round range is what I was seeing.
It's whatever. If it's first, second round, doesn't matter. Anyways, it's still a long way to go, I guess.
Yeah,
that you really make it. But he's definitely one of our better kids, and like I said, really nice kid who has a lot of confidence and this swagger to him that I like him. He's a young good player for us. And then the other wing is Senna Peters. He was here already last year. He plays in Halifax. I think his third year now. He's an O2, so it will be his last tournament here. But for me, also, he made a huge step this year in the off season, and he looks very sharp and ready to go. And I think he was very disappointed, I guess, that he did not get drafted last year, because there were talks that he should have been drafted in a later round, but he was not. So I think it was very devastating for him. So he really worked hard and wants to show everybody that he actually is a good player and can play.
That's awesome.
And then the name you might remember from last year was our goalie Sebastian Vranešits, who had some very good games last year. He had a tough season. He got drafted by Victoria in the WHL, and he came over and had a rough start. I think I don't know if he had mono or something. They just didn't find out what he had, but he was sick, and basically I think they had a rough start, and they got rid of him and also a couple other guys. And so he had to leave the country, basically being sick, and he was having one appointment at the doctor's to the next one, and nobody really knew what he had, so he didn't play a lot of games. But our goalie coach Jürgen Penka, who's also part of that goalie department of Roberto Luongo in Florida. He works hard with him now to get him, up to pace,
Nice.
and he has the trust from us, and he will definitely start the tournament, and we hope that he can be the goalie we need, especially in the deciding game against Germany.
For sure. That's good for him. I do remember watching him make some big saves last year. I'm curious about some of the off ice activities. I know Team Canada, obviously it's going to be easy for them because they didn't have to travel to a different country for this tournament. But last week I know they had like a team bonding trip or whatever. I'm curious with your group, because there's still guys that wouldn't have met each other until this tournament. Was there any kind of off the ice team bonding? Are there any stories from that or anything, or even in the tournament or in the hotel now?
Like I said before, we have such a little amount of players who are candidates for our national team. So those guys, they know each other since 4 or 5 years.
Right.
We have our national team starting with the U14, so 12, 13-year-old kids, and basically they grow up together and see each other whatever 2, 3, 4 times a year. And you have obviously other kids who didn't play in the U16 national team all of a sudden show up and are better, but they all know each other. So it's not that we have guys who are brand new to the team and nobody knows them.
Right.
But obviously we try to grow together as a team, and obviously address that we have to be a very tight group, and we have to grow as a team within the tournament, because us obviously as coaches from last year, and also the players are not dumb. They watch whatever TSN or whatever. They know that we are facing some very good opponents, and I think all we can do is really try to stick together whatever happens. And for us the tournament usually starts at the end of the tournament, so that to stay high mentally, and whatever, if you have a tough loss against whatever Finland in the opening night, or even a tougher loss in the second game against Canada, it's still our goal is to get better game by game. And I think it's perfect for us that we actually do have the Germans as the last game,
right?
Because you could assume that we will have a tough time to make points in the first 3 games, and obviously Germany, without Stützle, without Peterka, without Reichel, they will have a very tough time also.
For a lot of hockey fans, the World Juniors are the most exciting part of the year. For yourself, just coming back to the World Juniors every year, what is the most exciting part of it all for you?
I had the privilege to play in the World Juniors as a player, and it happens for Austria, whatever, every 10 to 15 years that a team, gets promoted to the A pool and plays with the top 10 nations in the world. But for me, when I was in that age and I played against, back then it was the 85 and 84 and 85 age group. So whoever, Dion Phaneuf, Sidney Crosby, Malkin, Ovechkin, all those guys, it was just amazing for me also to play against those guys and follow their careers, and if you see how impactful whatever Ryan Getzlaff, who else was there, so, or Zach Parisi, or all those guys, how long and how great their careers were. It was just also awesome for me to play against them, and now being here as a coach, as obviously the game developed, and what even our kids and our players, what they do now with the puck, and if you watch Zegras now, what he does, it's him, the sport totally evolved, and it's just great to see. And for us last year as a coaching staff, sometimes you get really caught on the bench and like, Jesus, what are those guys doing? You know, it's crazy. And
do you know who John Tortorella is?
What's that?
You know who John Tortorella is?
I obviously.
You see his comments about it, and he's like, "Oh, it's bad for the game to have."
Yeah, I saw those comments, and obviously I love his I love Torts' interviews and stuff.
Yeah, they're the best.
But I also saw the clip a day after or 2 days after when he said basically that he felt really bad. Things got taken out of context. But whatever, it's if you basically see what this move made and how many goals I think I already saw on Instagram the last 2-3 days where people try to replicate it. It's great. It's basically, obviously you don't have to grow the sport in Canada, but within the US or even in Europe, obviously in certain parts, it's just great for the game, and I think if you see stuff go viral on the internet, it's just awesome, because I think that's why, obviously I'm in the sports already that long. It's probably why you guys do the podcast, why you guys love hockey, and that's what you love to see, right? So I don't know if you really meant it that way.
No.
I obviously heard different podcasts also where they talked about it, that obviously the older guys on the team wouldn't have appreciated stuff like that. I heard a podcast with Getzlaff. Obviously he enjoys playing with those young guys, but sometimes he has to basically put them in their seat also, right?
For sure.
No, but coming back actually to your question, obviously to coach or to be part of the World Juniors in Canada, it's just awesome, and I mean I'm really worried now that we actually really have the tournament with fans. I'm not sure if that's a thing which is for sure going to happen. I'm still watching the news all day and every day. I
hope so.
I really hope so. I think it will be great, obviously, to play Canada in Canada. This will be great, but the tougher thing for me is just to be locked down again. As all teams and the staff, we are in a bubble, and we are not allowed. Basically, we have trackers on again. We cannot leave the hotel. We cannot leave the room.
There's trackers on you?
Yeah.
My goodness.
We are not allowed to leave. But is it a bubble? Yes, kinda. But we have normal people in the hotel too who are in the elevator with you without a mask, and you are like with a mask. So it's if we have the tournament in Edmonton, it would be great, obviously, on a day off to go for a drink or to go for a steak, or to walk to the rink and watch another hockey game. To really enjoy the World Juniors experience. That's not gonna happen. I'm sitting in my hotel. I watch video. We talk. We have meetings. We go to the rink. We have to drive to the rink. Although it's a 2-minute walk, we have to drive with the bus. We go on the ice. We go home again. We have dinner, and then that's it. So it's great, and I hope we have the tournament with fans this year. But obviously, it would be even better and sweeter if we could actually walk around a bit too, right?
Yeah, see the country for sure. Well, we're definitely going to be pulling for Team Austria this year. I mean, I'm excited to watch First Canada. Maybe they'll get a picture of the bench, and we'll see up there. I think we will. But just for the schedule, so first game against Finland, that's the 27th, and then the 28th back to back will be Canada, and then the 30th, the Thursday, you play Czech Republic, and then on the 31st you got Germany. So we'll be paying close attention for sure. You got to do one favor for Chump Talk though. So we after the tournament last year, we were trying to set up an interview with Marco Casper, and it sounded like it was going to happen, but we never worked out a time. And so we tried to message him this year, and he hasn't got back to us. So you got to put in a good word for us.
Obviously he's a cool kid, and whenever the time is right, now you can, you can see with him, he's super driven and super focused right now, because he knows he will be obviously, I guess, the center of attention, right? It's
For
definitely the biggest games in his life, right? Coming up. But I don't know, he doesn't really, I mean, I talked to his dad a lot, and his dad actually played with me, and he was, after then when he quit, he was my agent also.
Okay.
He told me he doesn't pay attention to that hype or whatever talk. Is he going, first round? Is he going to, whatever, under top 20, top 30? He just wants to work hard. He wants to play. He wants to have fun. But you can see he's focused, even here now. He plays with an edge also, and that's what I think what scouts like here in Canada. He's skilled, but he's very gritty, and
awesome.
But for sure he will take his time and talk to you guys. I'm for sure convinced about that.
If he asks, just make sure you tell him, hey, these guys Chump Talk, they're good guys.
Yeah,
so.
I will. No
but Philip, it was awesome talking again. We'll let you go. I know you got busy next week coming up here, so we're excited for you and wish you all the best.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Not a problem, and always a pleasure coming on.
We'll have to for sure do it again.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
We'll see you.
Thanks, guys.